Hello, welcome everyone. It's lovely to be here. Oops, a Fibre love affair. And I know sort of some of you were at the last show and popped in where you were zooming from, but if you'd like to let me know where you're zooming from today, that's always nice to know. And I can just see a message from Adela that Tiffany is there with Adela. So hi, Tiffany too. New York from Janet. It's always fun. Burnaby. So very close, Janet, because I'm in New Westminster, but maybe you know that. I don't know. Saskatoon, Vancouver, Ontario, North Carolina. We really are all over. It's lovely, isn't it? With Montreal, California. So I don't know where Barrie, but obviously I know where Ontario is, so that's good. When you mentioned that earlier, I was like, I'll have to Google that. And obviously Ottawa. That's really nice. So yeah, so I'm in New Westminster, very close to Vancouver, in beautiful British Columbia. And we've got some more people from British Columbia here as well. So Port Moody's not too far from me, so that's lovely. So I feel like there are some new faces here. I've got a some slides to show you. Trouble with words. So I'm going to go through that, talk about a little bit about my company, myself. I've got a new kit that I've launched this weekend and some of the other things that I've launched recently. So I'm going to talk about that. Of course, if you have any questions, I would love to hear them. And that's like Eureka was saying, the lovely thing about these shows is that we can, we get an hour to spend together where we can interact and ask questions. So feel free to, of course, type them in the chat box, or you can come off the take your microphone off and come and ask me too. And I'll just keep showing you things. And then if there's anything you'd like to see, or colours, or for those of you who don't know, I'm a natural yarn dyer. So if you have any questions about natural dyeing, I'd love to hear them. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I always do this slowly so I don't go wrong. And I think that's not from the start, which is about that. Okay, I just need to set up to do the slideshow from the start. There we go. That's not the beginning, so I don't know why it's not done that. There we go. Sorry about that. Speed slides. I'll bring up the chat box as well so I can see if anyone pops any chats in. Okay. So like I said, I'm Rebecca of WildWestDye, based in New Westminster, Canada, and I'm here to bring naturally dyed colour goodness into your home. I really love natural dyes. I think the colour, love that tank top. Thank you, Jenny. I love the colour of natural dyes, I love them so much. I love the fact that it's sustainable and renewable, and that's really important to me, but really I love the colours that you get from them. I think they're really special. Not only do I dye, I'm also a knitwear designer. I teach knitting and crochet, something I love very, very much. And I run a community knitting group as well. Oh, and it's also, crocheters, spinners are also come to the group and enjoy it. We love hearing you say love. See, I kind of love a lot of things. I'm going to pop in my link to, that's made me laugh, Adela. I'm going to pop in the link to the meetup group. So if you'd ever want to come and join in the fun there, everyone's welcome. It's a free to join group. It's not associated with WildWestDye. You can knit, all yarns are welcome, and everyone's welcome to come there. Okay. So I like to tell people that I live a very textile-y or yarny, colourful life. When I was young, I graduated university in fashion and textile design. Sally's just saying the meetup group is great, as is teaching. Thank you, Sally. And Gwenda says, I love that new top. It's an old top, Gwenda. So that was one of the first tops I knit with my yarn. Yeah, it's by Andrea Mary. I can't remember I have to remember what it's called. Okay, so I then did a master's in Central St Martin's in innovative pattern cutting, and I spent 20 years in the fashion industry doing that, and also as a pattern and garment technologist, specialist and product developer. So it's something making clothes and fit is something that is still very important to me, even though I've left that part of the fashion industry. I took a hand knit textile design course about 10 years ago. I really wanted to focus my knowledge and expand my knowledge in knitwear. I really enjoyed doing that. And I've been designing, I say 10 years, but really I started designing, as soon as probably when I was 18 and started making my own clothes. I've been a self-published knitwear designer for over 4 years, teaching for over 7, and I've been running a community knitting group for over 8 years. I actually started it in Sri Lanka because I wanted to meet with knitting people and yarny people, and then I started one as soon as I moved to Vancouver as well, because I've been in Vancouver for nearly 7 years now. It's funny, I keep having to remember to add a year every year I've been here. Okay. So why WildWestDye? Wild for natural, West for the west coast of Canada, and a play on Wild West because I really love cowboy boots. I love it's all part of that sort of textile, leather, beautiful leather work that I find very, very lovely. And it's nearly warm enough to start wearing them again, so I'm looking forward to being able to get them back on. Okay, so a bit about my process. I get all the yarn is Canadian spun. I get it from a supplier in Ontario, and it's all ordered in cones, and I wind it into big, like 300 or 200 gram skeins, depending on what I'm doing with it. The yarn gets washed first, with fancy name for that is scouring, and then it goes through a mordanting process. Mordant means to bite. I use something called alum, which is a safe metal. There are metals that you can use in natural dyeing that are not safe. Just because something's natural doesn't mean it's safe for the environment, but all the materials that I use are safe for the environment. So alum is what I use for mordanting. And then it goes through the dye bath process. So it goes, it might get sprinkled, it might go through 1 or 2 dye baths, it might get steamed. Obviously applying the colour, that's all the fun part. And then it gets rinsed and left to dry for 2 weeks. I say, unless it's with iron. If iron's used in a recipe, then the yarn always gets washed straight away because iron can start to degrade the protein in the fibres. So it must be rinsed to make sure it stays lovely and soft. So it gets its final wash, and then it's dried and gets ready to be sent to you. So I get asked about how I create my recipes. So some of the recipe, I use a lot of very traditional natural dye materials like weld and madder, cochineal. I was doing some research into weld the other day. It's one of the oldest known dye stuffs, and it's been around since the 1st millennium BC, which I think is rather wild. Or as far as they know, right? Might have been even before. So I think that's rather wild. And weld is my favourite yellow dye. It's a really nice yellow. I would say that. I love yellow. And so I use some traditional recipes, and then I'll blend different colours together. Sometimes I blend them in the dye pot, like in one pot. Sometimes they'll get multiple processes. And I quite like putting different colours together to make these unique colours. So one of my rose recipes, it's called Rosieville. It actually uses a purple and a yellow, and I get this really lovely warm pink out of it. And I basically just play, I get these little 10-gram mini skeins, and I'll just try different things together, and I look at the base colors as they come out by themselves and think, well, maybe a bit of that and a bit of that and a bit of that, and let's pop it in a pot and see what happens. And generally they always look beautiful. It's quite hard to then narrow down the colors that I'm actually going to choose to dye, because they're all, I love all the colors. They're all so beautiful. Okay. So I dye in these big skeins. One of the reasons is because I choose to sell it in small quantities. So the pure merino fingering, DK and worsted weight, you can buy in, I call them cake quarters. So it's like 25 grams for people who are used to metric, or it's like quarter skeins. I feel like 0.88 ounces. Don't know if that means much to people. So I like to call it quarter skeins as well. So basically you can buy what you need to complete your project. So if you just need half a skein, if you need 1.5 skeins, we sort of talk about skeins a lot in quantities, then that's all you need to buy. Partly because I don't like waste. I find it, I hate wasting anything. And of course, you know, leftover yarn is not waste. We can always find some use for it, but it's nice to not have to buy a full skein if you just want to add a pop of colour. And I really love multicolour projects and multicolour knitting. So this is a way to make it, maybe encourage people to try some multicolour knitting too. So the yarn is wound with a professional yarn winder. I wind it once and then it's wound again before it's sent to you. So the yarn has like plenty of air in, it's not stretched out, the integrity of the fibre is maintained because I do this twice winding and like I said, I'm a professional yarn winder. And to help you figure out how much yarn you need to buy, on the basis where you can buy them in cake quarters, there's this little weights, meters, yards button. You can press that and then it will bring up a chart which will show you, you know, how many cake quarters, what that means in grams, in ounces, in meters and in yards. So you can figure out how much you need to purchase for your project. And if you need help figuring it out as well, you can just you can send me an email. Let me know what you're making, what size, how much you need, and I'll be able to help advise how many cake quarters you need to buy for that project. So here are some of the colours that I have. So this is the naturally dyed soft fingering pure merino yarn. So it's a 2-ply fingering. It's quite puffy. I call it's not like a skinny fingering because I'm not great at knitting with skinny yarns anymore. So it's got some nice body to it. It knits up really nicely, like on a tight gauge, on like I'm only thinking millimeters at the moment, but like 3.25 and all the way up to 4.5 millimeter. So that's like a 3 to a 6 or something, badly off the top of my head, of a US needle size. So it's nice how you can play with that yarn, get the gauge of it as well. I've got 32 colours to choose from, and I don't think I mentioned it, but all the merino is ethically sourced from New Zealand. The sheep are allowed to maintain their sheepy behaviour and museling is not performed. So that's the fingering base. And then the DK base, so it's a 3-ply, so it's exactly the same as the fingering in terms of the super fine merino. It's actually like a 17 micron. I don't know how much that means to people, but it's really soft and lovely to work with. And the DK is a 3-ply. And this one you've got, I think it's 25 colours to choose from now. So I need to update my numbers there because I added some new colours in this last couple of months, a new green and a new gold, like sunflower gold colour and a dusky lavender as well. So I've actually added 3 colours for this one. So that's the DK. And then Adela's going, one of the things, I'm just reading the comments. One of the things I really love about Rebecca's yarn is the richness of the colours that she achieves with natural dyes. Thank you, Adela. Yeah, I really, sometimes I read things in book, they're like, oh, natural dyes, it's just muted colours. And I'm like, not necessarily. You can have some really beautiful, bright colours, deep colours. And one of the things I want to, encourage more people to use natural dyes because, some people think, oh, that's just going to be dull, and it's not. We can get these fantastic colours with them. So let's embrace them and use them more. So beautiful. Okay, this is the worsted collection. I have a smaller collection of colours in this weight. It's not as, I don't use worsted as much myself anyway. It's nice for hats, but it's not cold enough really in Vancouver to make worsted weight jumpers or sweaters. Yes, sweaters. I'm a bit tired, so I'm using my British words. And it's a 4-ply. So again, it's the same base as the other yarns, except it's now a 4-ply. It's really round. It has great stitch definition. A lot of people, when they feel it, they're like, oh, is it cotton? And I'm like, no, it's pure merino, but it's so soft. It feels really lovely to work with. And I was never intending, really. I got a cone back, back when I was first got my first yarns to try out. And I wasn't really intending to offer worsted, but I dyed some up anyway, and I knit some up to, see, and I was like, oh, it feels so good. I have to have some. So that's really why I have some worsted colours there for you to choose from. Okay. So I've, sorry, I sometimes don't know what order my slides are coming in. So where last year, beginning of last year, I was thinking, it's hard to buy yarns online sometimes, especially if you've never used, it's a new person to you, you've never seen the yarn, you don't know anything about them. So I had this idea that I would start a yarn tasting collection. And the first kit I launched was this little bunting garland. And it's still there, like you get 5 yarns from the collection and 5 colours, so you can make some rainbow bunting. And that was launched at the beginning of last year, I think. And I've just been adding more to the collection. So I've now added a new yarn tasting section within my shop, as I've now got 5 kits that are all yarn tasting kits. I've launched a new one today, which I'm going to share. It's the one in the middle on the screen. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But basically there's like a shawl, there's 2 cows, and there's 2 bunting kits at the moment. So it's a way that you can try the yarn, see the colours, have a feel for yourself, make something fun. And yeah, so this is why I have this yarn tasting collection here. I'm like, that was not my, anyway. So we'll go there now. So this is the new one today. So I've got it on. I made a yellow one. So those of you who know me know how much I love yellow. And I had to make I didn't have to. I was making a sample for a new class last month. I was like, I won't make it in yellow. I won't make it in yellow. And I made it in purple and grey. And I was like, oh, and I felt like I was having yellow withdrawal symptoms. So then I had to get something yellow on my needles. So that's essentially the truth. Oh, and I'll show you, I'm only small at the moment, so actually I'll show you big in a bit. So this one, it's 3 yarns. You get 3 twist textures. So the nice thing about this one, some of my yarn tasting kits are very simple. The other cowl I have, as long as you can knit and purl, it's a very simple design to make. This one, they challenge you a little bit more. You may learn, maybe you haven't done twist stitches before. Maybe you've done none of these textures before. There's different ways to do twist stitches within this design as well. So not only is it like this yarn tasting kit where you get these 3 different yarns, you may even be learning 3 new stitches as well. So it's a fun process project for sure. So you get the silk merino sport, the 3-ply DK, and then I have a merino cashmere nylon soft singles as well. So you get these 3 yarns in the kit. I dyed up some special colours so I could release it in rainbow. So there's one, the colours of the rainbow to choose from. And then I always say, if there was a custom colourway you wanted, as long as I've got the colours available, then I'm always happy to put custom colourways together for people as well. But I really quite liked this idea of 1 colour for each of the rainbows for this one. And then I've got a close-up of the 3 textures here. So like I say, you start with the silk merino sport, and this is it's called it's not basket weave. Yeah, maybe. It's really lovely twist, and you're twisting every stitch on every row, and you go left and right and left and right. And it makes this really cool, I think, really great fun pattern. So that's the first twist stitch. And then in the DK, I called it a trellis. And it's not, it's only basically like a 4-row pattern repeat that's offset. I feel like it looks more fancy than it really is to do. And it's just a twist stitch, some yarn overs and an increase. And you can go step by step through that. And then to finish off the border, we've got this bulky yarn in a knit two together twist stitch. So it's another twist stitch, but it's a different technique of how to twist. So I thought that's always interesting to learn how to do the same thing in different ways. And then we can always choose to use the way that we wish for the patterns and designs that we're making. Sometimes I say designs or patterns are just a suggestion, and you can just do them how you want to do them, right? That's how I always take other people's designs, and you're always welcome to take my designs like that way too. So that's the new yarn tasting twist cowl. And oops, I've just got here the yarn tasting shawl, which was launched in the summer of last year. This was by far my most popular kit of last year. I've sold it in lots of colours. I'm not sure how many colours I've got up at the moment. And again, I'm always happy to do custom colourways for this one. So I think Janet's here today. I made her a really fun custom colourway to go with a hat that she'd recently finished. And I think it was your first finished project of the month, Janet, of the year. And so always happy to do custom colorways. All this, there's lots of colors for you to choose from. So again, this is where you have your 6 yarns, 6 textures. Hopefully no one's ever told me they've got bored while making this design. It's a really fun design to knit up. So that's the yarn tasting shawl. And then another thing that I launched last week, sometimes I can't remember if it was last week, it's a teaching knit along. So like I say, I'm a knitwear and crochet or knitting and crochet teacher. I love teaching very much, and I love offerings. I've done this at least once, the Cozy Belly Sock Cowl, and I had requests to run it again. So this is starting on March the 15th. I'll just bring up the link to show you I'm just going to get my links. Always great at links. That's so basically it's going to be run on Meetup, which is what I use for the knit groups. So you can sign up there. It's going to run for 3 weeks, and we'll go through every step of the way. So I'll be teaching. I'll have my second camera to show you all the techniques that you need. And all you need to do to participate is buy or already have, because I know some of you have the kits already, the Cozy Belly Sock kit. So that's the Meetup and the sock kit links in the chat box there. And I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say something else and I've lost my thread. But I know. So the story, the story of this is, this was the first class that I taught when I came to Vancouver. I did a little bit of knitting teaching before I moved to Vancouver, but I've really expanded on it since. And this was the first class that I developed, probably about 6 years ago. And it was actually the first pattern that I ever sold. Was this sock pattern as well. So I feel like it's close to my heart. It's kind of one of the things that started me selling patterns as well. Someone saw the sock that I've been making. They're like, oh, well, I want to buy that pattern. And it was just one of those things, when people give you encouragement, it just helps you take, maybe you're simmering and thinking about doing it already. And then someone says, oh, yeah, no, that's a great idea. And that just helps you take the next step. So I really love this design. It's like close to my heart. Anyways, so this is going to be running. You've still got time to order your kit. Oh, look, Sally, I wonder if I can make Sally big. I don't know if I can do that. And spotlight. This is where I'm going to get confused with things. I don't know if that worked. Well, I'm going to stop sharing in a minute.
Okay. Anyway, here is a pair. Okay.
Yay! And was that your first pair of socks you'd made as well?
No, I've made socks, but they came out very well. And that Japanese increase thing.
Yes, the Japanese short rows.
Short rows, that's it. Yes, I enjoyed doing that very much, and I prefer it to the German method.
Yeah.
They've just come out of the washing machine, actually.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, because it is machine washable yarn. It's merino and nylons, bulky weight. It's great. It's a great one to learn on if you haven't made socks before, because you're using like 5mm US 8 needles. And even if you have made socks before, it's still fun to do.
And I like the toe up.
Yes. I mean, I must say, I really like cuff down socks for whatever reason. But I do love toe up socks because it means you can use every bit of yarn that you have. Yes. And you know, and there's the thing with this kit as well. You get it in 2 cakes. So you have 1 cake for each sock, and you can just keep on knitting until you run out. So you can make your cuff a bit longer, or there's yarn to make your foot length longer as well. So yeah, so that's fun. Thanks, Sally. And this wasn't planned with Sally at all. So that's nice.
They're handy that I made earlier.
And just have them here. Wonderful. Thank you, Sally. Okay, so I shall go. What I'll do is, and here's one of mine here as well. I've made quite a few of these. So this is Tiger Star. I had some fun with some of the new colours as well, trying out some new sprinkle colours. You know, my fingering DK and worsted, they're like set recipes, repeatable colours, and you know, it's important to have there. And it's also important just to dye up fun colours for fun. And so I do that quite a bit with like the Cozy Betty sock and some of my other yarns as well that I'll be showing you. So yes, so this is twist dyed and sprinkled. So that's my so in the Cowl I'll be making its second its mate. So I've only made 1 of these, so I'll be happy to have a mate making during the Cowl. So that's that. Right, I shall go back to sharing my screen. Slowly. There we go. And I just need to make it full screen. Current slide. There we go. Okay. So that's the Cozy Betty sock. So if anyone has any questions, and this one I do have a full collection of YouTube videos. I think it's 8 to take you through every step of the way or have a refresh. And obviously Sally's made socks before, but people have learned to make socks. Never made socks before, and just use the YouTube videos to do that. But obviously you've got the opportunity to, you know, spend 3 weeks with me and we'll go through it as well. So that'll be fun. Okay. And then this one I launched last month. It's a new yarn release, so I'm just going to share that with you. So this is a merino cashmere silk DK. It's really nice. It's really nice yarn, and it's great for. I've got a real sort of passion of DK socks. I feel like someone was talking about that in one of the shows earlier, and I can't remember who it was. And I really love DK weight socks, so I wanted to get a DK weight yarn that you could use for socks. So this is a nylon-free one. It uses the silk for the strength. It's machine washable, which is great, and I have been machine washing and tumble drying a pair as well, because I think it's always important to do that and test. So I've started doing that with the pair that I've made, and I will have some more colours coming out. So I'm really looking forward to dyeing up, and this is going to be a collection that I have fun with, essentially. So I've made a rainbow, I've made rhubarb and custard. I might actually just show you the yarns. I've got them by the side here. So here is the rainbow one. So these ones I dye in 200-gram skeins. And I've got some pictures of the, I don't know if the colour's a bit washed out on my screen, probably. And so it's like dip dyed or dyed in indigo first. So I like tie off this part. All this is dyed, obviously, blue. And then I over dye, for the purple, I over dye it with like this maroon colour. It comes out purple. This is one of my favourite ways to get purple. I put some yellow over the blue for the green, and then I can hand paint. So it's all hand painted. The blue's not hand painted. That's indigo dye, and the rest of it's hand painted. And I've basically, to hand paint with natural dyes, you use extracts you can't get all colours in extracts, or all not all colours. Well, all colours as well. Like you can only do blue really and indigo, so you can't hand paint per se with blue. But you can't get all dye stuffs in extracts. You can only get certain colours, so you have to be find ways to make the colours that you want. So I'll blend different extracts together. It's basically like mixing paint, isn't it, really, to get different colours. So the red and the orange I've made from a blend of different ones. This is Weld, my favourite yellow. It's interesting hand painting with Weld, because as an extract, it basically looks translucent. It's like this very sort of, it's not even cream. So you're like, you can't really see how much you're putting on there, because it kind of disappears. It looks the same color as the yarn, whereas the other colors, obviously, they stand out really quite nicely. So it is fun dyeing with the yellow. Tiffany's saying that she needs that one. It's really nice. I think there's still 3 left of this. There's going to be more coming, of course. But yes, it's really love the rainbow. And then the other one I did was rhubarb and custards. Totally indulgent, because I love pink and yellow. So I was like, I'm dyeing some pink and yellow. So this is great, because this is actually 2 of the brightest dyes, really, the dye stuff that I have on in my natural dyes. So like I said, the yellow is the Weld. So it just makes me smile. And the pink is cochineal with cream of tartar. So that pulls the pink out of cochineal, because cochineal by itself is sort of like in the realms of purple. But when you add this cream of tartar, it goes this bright pink. So it's great fun. So that's been twice dyed to get the sort of 2 colours from there. So I just thought I'd show you them, because it kind of made me happy. And the nice thing I found with this yarn is, because obviously we wear the reverse stockinette side against our skin most of the time, not all the time. And because of the cashmere and silk in there, the reverse side feels really soft. It feels softer than the pure merino, which kind of, I don't know, surprised me a bit. But I'm like, it feels really good. So pleased with this new base. I'm just going to go back to showing my screen. This one. And I've got some things that I've knit up in the yarn, because it's always nice to see. All these are going to be like a 2/3 and 1/3 dyeing with the colours. So then how it will pull and things like that will be similar for each colour, but obviously just with different colours. So we've got the hat. Although, so this is the process here. So that's what I was saying. Like I tie off the yarn, so I can just blue, dye one section blue. It gets hand painted, and then it's steamed to set the colours. So there's a bit more of the photos of how it's done. Makes me smile because I love rainbows. Okay, I'll have to take some photos of how I do the other, the 2 dip dyeing ones. So that's quite fun too. So I'll do that next time. Okay, so I have a bit of love of pooling. I think it's rather fun. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. And it always depends how many stitches you have, and if you're going in the round or back and forth. So everything will pool in different ways depending on the project and size, right? So this is a medium size. So obviously I made this with the rainbow. This is a new collection of free patterns that I've started. They were launched last month. So it's called Slingo. I have so far a hat, wrist warmer, and a bunting, because why not have bunting? So that makes me smile too. I'm just going to put the pattern link in the chat box. Okay. And then throughout the year, I'm going to be continually adding to this Slingo collection. I did a poll on Instagram last month. The next one that's going to come out is the socks. I've got a picture of the socks in a thing coming up. And then I've got more ideas as well. So I'll keep asking, like, what next? I really love rectangular, simple tops. We just have this boat neck, you make a rectangle. So I'm thinking that will definitely be one. that I do, you know, and there's cowls and shawls. So I'll just, you know, make this really nice, robust collection of free patterns, and they've all got my own, you know, take on it. So I love making rolled stockinette borders on hats. I'm mildly obsessed by it. So, you know, that's included in the pattern of how to do that. And there's also instructions of how to adjust for the height of your hat. Do you want a beanie? Do you want a slouchy? So you can learn to, you know, make things how you want them to be, which is the great thing about making our own accessories and clothes. We can do whatever we want if we know how. So hopefully it will show you how, help you how. And then this is the wrist warmers. And I received an email from someone, this launched like, I don't know, 4 weeks ago. I received an email from someone yesterday morning saying that this was the best wrist warmers I'd ever made. And thank you so much. It really made my day. It's really lovely waking up to emails like that from people. It's like, thank you very much. So this one has a full collection of YouTube videos as well. Like I say, I'm a teacher. I love to share my skills. So if you haven't made wrist warmers before, or you've made them once in the skills that you can't remember, because we have to do things more than once before we remember, then there's a full collection of videos on my YouTube channel that goes with this. They can be used with any DK weight yarn. Obviously, I'm using them with the new fun colorways. So that is the wrist warmers there. And I think my socks are next. Yay. So these are the socks. I had to make them in the pink and yellow. And then I've got, you know, there's different, I've got my own recipe I use for socks. I've made lots of socks. I do some special things for the heel. I increase stitches before we work the heel at the back and things like that. So, you know, I'll be, again, sharing all that in the pattern and doing a full collection of videos as well. And obviously, it's nice to see how the colour knits up in different circumferences, you know, how it pulls in different ways. I really love the splodges of pink there that you can see, and the wide bands on the heel at the bottom. I thought that was quite fun, what happened there with it. And there you can see my little bunting pattern. So any little bits of leftovers, you can just make some bunting. And like I say, you can make this, you know, use these patterns for any DK weight yarn. So that's the Slingo, and then I'll just pop in the link for the yarn as well, if I can do slowly. Okay. So that's a rainbow and the rhubarb and custard yarn there. Okay, I'm just going to take the tea. So I'll just go through the Twist Me Round collection that I launched. Is that a toe up or cuff down sock? So the one that's the sock the pattern I'll be launching for the Slingo sock will be cuff down. Yeah, I really love cuff down socks. I think it's because that's the first sock that's the way I learned to make socks the first time. But I feel there's something very satisfying about doing the heel, then the turn, picking up the stitches. I don't know. I don't think it's better. It's just something that I prefer. So, yeah. And like I said, the Cozy Belly socks toe up. So it's nice to have one that's cuffed down too. Thanks, Gwenda. Gwenda, you're going to see yourself in a minute. I wonder if you're going to be here. So the Twist Me Round collection I launched in December. I've had great feedback that it's a really fun pattern to do. So I taught a class in December for the cable hat, and they were saying it's this nice blend of interest, but not too hard, you know, not too much monotonous knitting. There's not really monotonous knitting in this collection. And I really loved spiral bias knitting. I talk about it, you know, frequently in my shows, and I really wanted to apply cables to this bias knit. And it's just bias, you know, you're not doing anything different than regular knitting. It's just how the knit two togethers and the increase and decreases are placed, how they're placed, how they work together and it basically makes your fabric go on a bias. When you're working in the round, that just means it spirals round. So it's really fun. And I'm looking forward to I've been like starting to simmer some other ways, other stitch patterns I can use for some spiral knitting. So there's a hat, there's a couple of wrist warmers and a cowl. So I've got some lovely, here you go, Gwenda, some lovely knitters here. I'm not sure if Meredith's here either today, or if she's working, who made the hat in the purple. This is Pixie Berry in the worsted weight. And this is I think it's lovely. I'm just laughing. Indigo, dyed with indigo first, and then over dyed with lac, this burgundy colour. So it's what I use in the rainbow for the purple. And I really love this. It's great purple. And I discovered this colour just by playing. You know, I dyed up loads of indigo. I put different colours on top of it and saw what happened. And I was really happy with how this purple comes out. So I use this purple a lot, this recipe a lot in the different yarn bases. So this is the worsted weight hat here. So like I said, I sell, you know, you can buy the yarn or you can buy the kits. I've got lots of kits available now. You know, I love to encourage people not just buy the yarn, but create with the yarn, because that's, you know, that's kind of why we buy it. I don't know, sometimes we buy yarn just because it's really pretty and we want to look at it, and that's fine. But it's also nice when you can make the projects and wear them as well. So that's why I have like kits for you to choose from if you're not sure what to make. So this is a twist me round hat. And let's go. And then I have the cowl here. So this is in the silk merino sport. The fun thing about this collection as well is it's a bit like a yarn tasting collection, because you have the hat in the worsted, the cowl in the silk merino sport, and there's a wrist warmer either in the fingering 2-ply or in the soft singles bulky. So you can make like a yarn tasting kit. And I know Meredith's she's made her I don't know if I've got a picture, the purple wrist warmers, and she's started making the cowl. So she'll have a nice purple set. That's going to look really fun. So there's the cable there. And again, with these, like it's a reducing cable. It's a stitch I essentially made up, but it's like a cable with a decrease in it. So there are YouTube videos to show you the processes as well. The same with the wrist warmers. There's a full collection of YouTube videos for these. So this is the fingering weight, just be round wrist warmers. And then we have the bulky weight too. So I've got a few colours there. So they're the wrist warmers. Okay. And then next. So we've got the Whispering Shawl. I was just going to go through some other kits. For sure, if there's any particular colours or questions you have or colours you want to see, just let me know in the chat box. Otherwise, I'll just keep sharing some of the kits that I have with you. So the Whispering Shawl is another really popular design of mine. I designed this, I think it must have been about 4 years ago, maybe more. And this is a real popular seller on Ravelry for me. It's really nice. And I love this. I bought the yarn because I wanted some, like, as in I chose the yarn because I wanted some yarn to go with this shawl. It's a really lovely shawl. And I have a lot of fun with these colours as well. So some of them are repeatable. Has some like colours that are, the recipes that I use in other yarns. And some of them are just fun. And I'm just like, they're exhaust dyes, or I'm like, let's just sprinkle a bit on that and see what happens. There's something about magic about natural dyes is that they always look beautiful. So I've never done anything I'm like, it's a dud. Everything always looks really lovely, and it's fun to just paint and try these different colorways. So I have a lot of fun dyeing these yarns. It's like it's a true fingering yardage. You've got your sort of, it's 395 meters to 100 grams. So you can make lots of lots of the single skein shawl designs with this yarn. And also, obviously, I offer a pattern as well. So that's the Whispering Shawl. Let's repeat this one. Another sock base I have is the Silk Merino Sport Weight. So I sell this in 75 gram quantities, which is all you need to make a pair of socks, little pair of socks. I actually, for the pair that I'm wearing there, I used 52 grams. So 75 grams is plenty. And it's kind of like, why buy more than you need? You know, it's all part of that sort of ethos, you know, that is important to me and that I offer. So I've got a few colours here. And also, you know, it's 50% silk, 50% merino. So it's a nylon-free sock. It's in sport weight, so your needles don't have to be as small as fingering socks. I can't make fingering socks anymore. Unless it's held double. So sports is a nice option to go for if you find fingering a bit much for you, for socks anyways. That's that one. Some of the other kits, a rainbow blanket kit. Like I say, I really love rainbows, and so I always have fun dyeing up these colorways for their rainbow blankets. Really simple pattern. It's just a knit one, purl one. Or there's a really lovely, I said this last time, there's a lovely cowl that someone's made on Ravelry with this kit. I'm going to email the knitter and ask her if I can use the photograph that she's put up there. So obviously the pattern's free, so you can make a baby blanket, or you can make anything with a rainbow that you wish, of course. So you just get 50 grams of each colourway there. So that's a rainbow. And then the Colour Me Love pillow kit. So Janet finished, I think Janet's still here, you finished your Colour Me Love pillow. So this was the cowl that I ran in November last year. So it was the last teaching knit along I did. And basically it was the people participating in this knit along that requested the sock knit along. So it's like, if you're in the next knit along, you get to help choose what the next knit along is. This is one of the first designs or the first kits I launched for WildWestDye. I had a revamp last year with these 9 colours in, and it's just a way to encourage people. Like, if I get that not everyone wants to wear yellow and pink all the time, even though that's really fun. But of course, if someone doesn't want to wear bright colours, that's fine. So this is a way to knit with bright colours and maybe look at bright colours, but not actually having to wear them yourself, because maybe it's just not your jam in that respect. So that's sort of one of the reasons behind this cushion pillow kit. I call it cushion, but seems to be more common to call it a pillow. And also you get to see, a nice collection of colours. You've got 8 colours on the front, and then you get another colour for the back, of course. So it's a way to see some different colours, maybe inspire you for a colourwork project. You can see what some colours look together. So that was sort of the intention behind this pillow. Okay. And then we've got I might speed through these a little bit. So this is mosaic knitting, which is a really lovely way to start colourwork knitting. Because you only knit with one colour at a time. This is a really fun puffy spot pattern. It's like bubbles without making bubbles. And I launched a cowl ages. I really like cowls, so I tend to design these a lot. This was launched last year, maybe the year before at some point. And now I've added a hat, which is what I'm wearing today, and a pair of wrist warmers to the collection as well. So there's a little hat, wrist warmer and cowl for you to choose from. Again, there's YouTube videos to show you the techniques. You actually learn how to do a slip-one yarn over, which if you've got brioche on your I want to learn how to do list, this is a really great stitch to learn how to do, because it's what you need for brioche as well. They are both a form of tuck stitches. So it's sort of, got some it's nice to, learn something new. Not always, but it's nice to learn something new sometimes when you're knitting something. So that's the Slingo collection. And then I'm just going to go. So there's the wrist warmers. It's really fun. So I did different colours. I made a yellow and grey one, but in the hat. I think it's over there. Okay, anyway. Upcoming classes that I'm teaching with Bad Anna. So like I said, I absolutely love teaching. It could be my favourite. Sometimes people ask me, which is your favourite thing out of designing, dyeing, teaching? And I'm like, I don't know. But actually, it really could be teaching. I love it really a lot. And so I'm a teacher for Bad Anna's, a lovely yarn store here in Vancouver, if you don't know it. And we offer all our classes at the moment on Zoom. We'll continue to offer classes on Zoom because it's fantastic. I have students from all over. My furthest student came from Hong Kong. I thought that was really quite nice. I was like, oh. We have people from the East Coast and the States quite frequently. So it's really lovely how we, people can come together in this way. I always love to teach colourwork classes because I'm very passionate about colourwork, and brioche, which is obviously colourwork, but it's also brioche, which is really fun. It makes this great squashy, beautiful fabric. So I've got the Alaska hat class running again in March. I'm trying to think what month it is. This is one of probably my most popular class. I reckon this has run 5 or 6 times now. It's such a beautiful design. It's a Canadian designer, and really enjoy doing this class. Yeah, it's running this month and next month. Yeah. Thank you, Janelle. Yeah, the Cowl is really rather spectacular. So this is a new class. It's called, I can't pronounce it. It's like, well, the words there of what the Cowl's called. And it's syncopated brioche, which just means you have both colours active on both sides, so you have knit columns in both colours, so it just adds another little layer of wow to brioche by itself is what, all brioche as well. And when I saw this design on Instagram, I'm like, yep, that's the one. So that's running, the class is full for March, but it's also being offered for April. So if you'd like to join in, learn some brioche with me, there's that one. And then I have a Fair Isle and steeking class in March as well. So we Fair Isle, learn how to Fair Isle, two colour hand knitting, knit with both hands. So we're really fun of teaching people that. It's always funny because some people, it's really hard to learn with knitting with your non-dominant hands. So it's good to share the pain with other people as you do it. We'll learn together. I'll show you different ways to do it. And then we'll be steeking as well. So I think Tiffany and Adela's taking this class. I don't know if you, but that one's running in March too. So I'm always on the lookout for more classes. I've got another spectacular hat, colourwork and cables. So there's a picture on my Instagram a few squares back. So that's going to be offered. Yeah, lovely, Adela. That'd be really nice. So I'm always, offering new classes. And like I say, I like to offer, they're normally 4-week project classes. It just depends. Like the Fair Isle and steeking's only 2 weeks. But I really love teaching these project-based classes that last over a few weeks. People get to know each other. It builds a community. I get to know you. We just generally always have a very nice time together. So I really love this type of class. And you learn a skill, and you also apply it to a finished project as well. So you're not just making a little swatch that, I don't know, some people are great and put swatches in, keep them ring binders, but you'll have a finished project either at the end of the class or a good way through it, depending on which one it is. So like I said, I love teaching. Okay, I'm like looking at the time, and I'm just going to say, so these are some of the things here. So we haven't got too much longer left. So if you have got any questions or anything you'd like to see, please get that in. These are some of the things that knitters have finished. Like I said, I love to see you finish projects. This one's really fantastic. This was this person's first colourwork project that they've never done. It was amazing. Good for you. So it's like, people sort of say, because I teach beginners as well. I teach beginners every month. And they're like, well, what should I make next? And like, you have to make something that you want to make. And if you want to make it, then you can do it. And this person really wanted to make this Colorwork Poncho, and they'd never done it before, colourwork before, and they did a great job. So it always makes me smile. If you need anything to add, if you need help choosing colours for a colourwork project, obviously it's a bit hard if you can't see it in person and put colours together, and I'm always happy to do these like colour chips, I call them. Just seen the message from Adela. Tiffany has taken classes with Rebecca and says she's an amazing teacher. Thank you. I do love it. I think it's always lovely to hear. But I'm always, back to the colour chips, I'm always happy to put like colour chips together, show you colour combinations, things like that. So it's just some 2 colour options, pink and yellow, obviously, and some 3 colour options here. And I was doing one the other day for someone for retro rings. It's a really fun sweater. And Gwenda. Oh, thank you, Gwenda. And yeah. So they said, oh, this is my inspiration. Can you put me some chips together? So I'll, you know, send them off. So it's a fun thing to do. And I always quite like knowing what you're going to be making as well, because why not? So I was happy to do that. So you can just email me. There's obviously a contact form on my website, or I'll put my email in the chat box, and you're always more than welcome to get in touch. I was like to say, people either email back straight away or a week later. So I do try and do straight away. I'll do my best. It's just, and I just wanted to go to my last page. Here we go. So I am on Instagram and Pinterest. If you don't follow me there already, feel free to follow me at WildWestDye. Sign up to my newsletter and generally send one out about once a week, 3 times a month. New kits, teaching, you know, any of the virtual shows that are coming up, you know, that sort of thing. And look out for the discount if you put in your birthday little pop-up that comes up. So you'll get a discount code on your birthday, because I think that's quite a nice thing to have for your birthday. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. Just make yourself laugh. Okay. Okay, here, I'm just going to have a look. Like I say, so we've just got 4 minutes. And then I might just make myself big. So make myself big so I can see myself. Like I said, this is the Yarn Tasting Twist Cowl in the yellow, because I love yellow. This is not blocked yet because I haven't blocked it. This is what it looks like before blocking. So this is the green colourway here. So I really love like that splodge that you get sometimes with, this has been, so all the greens are dyed with indigo first and then over dyed, and these were all over dyed with weld and just different grades of indigo before it was over dyed, and different strengths of weld that was used to get the different colours. So again, you know, it's always fun how you can get so many different colours with just 2 ingredients, right? Anyway, so this is the green before blocking, ends not sewn in yet. Yarn Tasting Twist Cowl as well. I had some I wanted to knit one in every colour, so I had like the rainbow of them, but I thought maybe that was a bit excessive, so I just went with 2. But it'd be quite fun to see them all knit up, I think, as well. So yeah, that's them. And oh, here's a cowl in real life. So yeah, I made a short one. There's a short or long available in the pattern. Like this is my purple and grey thing that I made. Really, this is the class that I'm teaching. And I use the fingering pure merino 2-ply for this. So there's lots of 2 colour choices that you can go with. And I use Silver Star and Lavender Lips with that purple and grey. And then someone has bought a kit in yellow and grey, Betsy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing yours come up, because I think really I wanted to make a yellow and grey one. So I'm glad Betsy's going to be. And someone else bought one in the chocolate velvet and Dance Canyon, the red, so the chocolate brown and red. I think that's going to look really nice as well. Yeah, it's such a beautiful design. The design is called Liz Cork. So yes, that's that one. And then we have some buttoning. Like I said, I think a lot of you have seen the yarn tasting shawl, but anyways, maybe some of you haven't. So here's one of the colorways, one of the bright ones, but there's, you know, bright and muted, but here's the cowl finished. Oh yeah, and I do it so both sides look good. I really like designing shawls if you can see both, or garment or things, if you can see both sides, then both sides look like they can be the right side. So I really take that into account when I'm designing shawls, because that's important. And either by having like reversible like truly reversible, like both sides look the same, or both sides can be the right side. Anyway, that's sort of a tangent there. This is both sides look exactly the same stitch. And I like having a lot of fun with that. Okay, it's like a minute. I feel like I could keep on talking with all the fun. Yes, and there's that's what I love, like that splodge of pooling there. So that's some of the, I really want to make one of the hats in the pink and yellow. I might just take a yarn out of the stock and use it for myself. Yeah, it's a nice thing that you can do. Okay, we are at time, so maybe I should stop. If there are any final questions. I think I could talk for another hour, Eureka.
No problem. You can take questions.
Yes. If there are any, can ask me. My stockinette rolled border. There we go. I'll just see if anyone's got any questions. And feel free to obviously talk if you wish, or you can put it in the chat box as well. It's lovely to see the familiar faces and new faces, like scanning for names. Always great. Remember. Okay, don't know if there's any questions. Okay then. Well, thank you all for coming. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I seem to have had a really fun time sharing the things with you. And so, yeah, I hope you've just enjoyed seeing all the colours and you feel inspired. You know, that's what I really like to be able to do, is inspire people to create, because, I don't know, I feel like that's inbuilt in our DNA. And P. Rose is just saying, I'm excited to join your cowl. Wonderful. I'm looking forward to it. Michelle, great energy. Gwenda, it's been great. Thanks, Rebecca. Thank you for joining, Gwen. I think it's Gwenda's first virtual show, isn't it? Ever. Not just mine, you know. I'm glad. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Yes, first. Good for you, Gwenda. Thank you. Lovely to see. Yeah, it's lovely to hear from you, Adela. I was going to say see you, but treasure hunt word. Thank you. So obviously forgot that. The treasure hunt word is twist. There we go. I actually thought of one this time. For my yarn tasting twist cowl, I thought that was quite a nice, easy one to think of this time. And Jackie, love your yarn. Excited for your cowl. Yes, thank you, Jackie. Jackie got rock star. I don't know why saying rock star makes me want to shake my shoulders, but it does. Colourway from the socks, so that's fun. Yeah, thank you, Jackie. It'd be lovely to have you there. Spots are filling up. I opened a few more spots today. I'll cap it at 25, and it might not fill up, but we've got 16 signed up for the knit along at the moment. So it's going to be really lovely. Really looking forward to it. And familiar faces and new faces, which is always important, you know, and that's a really nice mix to have in this thing. So it's going to be lovely. Okay. Thanks.